This is now one more. James Graham and Vaquero, first run since the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. They're in the gate. They're off, racing in the American Derby. Dakota Gypsy breaks sharp from the rail under Larry Sterling Jr. Reb is there. Proceed B, no inflation. And Vaquero is keen. First run of the season for Vaquero. And Vaquero's the pace with no inflation. Just inside of the leader, Vaquero. Proceed B is close up to them. Dakota Gypsy, Oil Man comes up on the outside. Reb is under keen restraint by Julian Neperu. And the Arlington Classic winner, Giant Oak, is last. The first quarter, 24 seconds flat, rails in the million lane as they turn. So here's no inflation. And Robbie Alvarado up the fence with no inflation to get out to the front. But just leave Vaquero, who's prompting no inflation now. Those leaders have 3.5 lengths on Proceed B. Dakota Gypsy comes up the fence. A couple more to Oil Man next in line. 3.5 lengths back to Reb, who has a couple more on 3 to 5. Giant Oak running last. Racing up the backstretch, no inflation, and Vaquero, and those two heads apart. Dakota Gypsy third, Proceed B fourth. Oil Man and Alonso Quinones has Oil Man 6 lengths off the pace. As they move past the half-mile pole now in the American Derby, at the back of the pack still Reb and Giant Oak. Giant Oak trails 9 lengths adrift off of No Inflation and Vaquero as they go into the far turn. Toward the inside, Dakota Gypsy. Proceed B is now being driven over 3 furlongs out. Proceed B just grabs third. Oil Man is next in fifth. Giant Oak comes up outside of Reb, and those two also taking closer order. No Inflation turns them in the American Derby. Under a quarter to run, Vaquero fully stretched. Proceed B, Red Cap, Dakota Gypsy up the fence, Giant Oak. Oil Man's been switched out, stand sides, and Reb is last, and behind horses Reb. Down to the final furlong. No Inflation in front with Robbie Alvarado. Oil Man is charging. Dakota Gypsy right there. Giant Oak trying to get up between horses. Reb is rolling late as the winning line looms. Reb photo with No Inflation. Reb and No Inflation in American Derby photo. Photo finish. Posted running time 1:56 flat. Photo finish to the American Derby. Two, 5, 4, 6. 2 Reb at 5 to 1, just up. 5 No Inflation at 7 to 2, caught on the line by Reb. 4 Oil Man at 5 to 1/3, and the 6 Proceed B 22 to 1/4. 2, 5, 4, 6. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? There has been a jockey's claim of foul lodged in deep stretch. Chris Amy on 6, Proceed B, the unofficial 4th. Alleging interference by Alonso Quinones on 4, Oil Man, the unofficial 3rd, in deep stretch. This is a jockey's claim of foul. It involves the 3rd and 4th. Chris Amy on 6, Proceed B, who finished 4th, alleging interference by Alonso Quinones on the unofficial 3rd, the 4 Oil Man in deep stretch in the American Derby. Hold all. A second jockey foul claim in late stretch. Eddie Razzo Jr. on 3. Giant Oak also claiming foul. Claiming foul against Alonso Quinones on 4. Oil Man, the unofficial third in late stretch. The riders of both the 6 and the 3 claiming foul against the jockey on the 4. Leading in the 2, Reb with Julian Leparoux. On a stakes double. Reb, a 3-year-old bay colt by Stormy Atlantic at a Sweet Baby Jane by King Mambo, bred in Kentucky by Ken and Sarah Ramsey. The winner's owned by Glenn S. Bromegan's Ashbrook Farm, trained by Rusty Arnold. And the winner's circle, Reb. 3 in a row.
So Reb wins the Grade 2 American Derby in another classic Julien Leparoux ride. I have Mr. Glenn Bromegan with me from Ashbrook Farms. Now, we saw Reb out in the paddock the other day. He looked fantastic and it really caught everybody's eye. He lived up to it. He was facing much tougher here. How were you feeling coming into this race?
Oh, he was doing great. But Rusty couldn't be here today.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, so we just flew in from Idaho. Everything turned out great.
Everything turned out fantastic. Now, Julien, you've been aboard for his last 2 races. 2 wins, wins a made the special weight, wins an allowance. Now wins the Grade 2. I guess he's the real deal. How good is he?
I mean, we don't know yet because it's still pretty green. You know, the first time I rode him at Kenon, it was still green. So if you can see, he only won by a nose, and both time a neck and a nose. So he still got a lot to learn. So that's good for the future.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe you'll be the one to teach him. Been aboard for his last 3. So congratulations to Reb, Mr. Bromegan from Ashbrook Farms, Julien Leparoux. Reb wins the Grade 2 American Derby.
The trophy presentation for the American Derby to be made today by Ms. Lisa Dent of US 99, making the presentation to the connections of Reb. Lisa Dent of US 99, America's Country Station, presenting to the connections of Reb. Congratulations to Glenn S. Bromegan's Ashbrook Farm, winning trainer Rusty Arnold and Julien Leparoux. Another stake win today.